T3 headlights. First question is, what the heck are T3 headlights? T3 headlights are the headlights that were made and put on General Motors cars from 1956 through 1972. They made several different varieties. They made large bulbs for 56s and 57s. They made small bulbs for 58 through 72. Lots of different styles. Believe it or not, 35, 40, 45, 50 years later, T3 headlights are still out there and they still work. So we have a full display of T3 headlights. 56 is a separate design, 57 is a separate design, then they changed in 58 and 59. 1960 through 1967 is different. 1968 through 1971 is another design, and 1972 had its own design. But we've still got all the bulbs, they're all matched, complete sets, rip-raring, ready to go, and they still work after 35, 40, even 50 years. The first design is for 1956. This is sort of a Jeopardy question. What does T3 mean? And T3 means nothing more than they wanted the light to tilt down 3 degrees, and they wanted the light to tilt to the right 3 degrees. So that is what T3 stands for. They started in 1956. This is the T3 design in 56. Got the T3 right in the middle of the bulb. It also has 3 alignment pins, and those were what were used to be sure that the bulbs were tilting 3 degrees down and 3 degrees to the right so they wouldn't blind the drivers coming at them. Then you go to 1957. Looks like a 1956 bulb, but they made one minor little change on it. So a 56 bulb is a 1956 only. 57 bulbs were made through 1962. Then they changed that design. Then the next bulb is, here's your 57s. The only difference is these letters are smaller on a 57 bulb than they are over here on the 56 bulb. These are the large letter bulbs for 56 only. The 57 has smaller letters for where it says sealed beam. In 1958, all the headlights switched over for General Motors. They switched over from a 2-light, 7-inch headlight pattern. They went over to 4 bulbs. Each one is 5.5 inches in diameter. So now you've got 4 bulbs instead of 2. You've got low beams on the outside that do the low beams and high beams, and then the bulbs on the inside only work on high beams. So now you got 4 of them instead of 2. In 1958 and 1959, they came out with the first pattern. It's a plain triangle. There's nothing in the back behind the T3. It's just a nice plain pattern, but they have the word guide because they're made by the Guide Lamp Company down in Anderson, Indiana. They have the word guide up above the triangle on 58 and 59. Then if we move over to the next pattern, this is from 1960 through 1967. It looks just like the 58 bulb, but they took the word guide and they moved it down to the bottom of the bulb instead of being up above the triangle. So they did that through 1967. Then in 1968, it's on the inside of the bulb instead of being raised on the bulb.
With the guide right there?
Okay, the next change was in 1968, they changed from a plain triangle bulb. They used the same triangle, but now they put vertical lines behind it. So they used that from 1968 through 1971. And then in 1972, they have another design for 1972 where they dropped the triangle entirely. They took the T3 and they made it very small and they brought it right down here to the bottom. So it said guide and then it said T3 underneath it. They took the triangle away, so the triangle disappeared, the lines disappeared, and they just took the T3 and they made it very small and they put the T3 down at the bottom of the bulb. And that was for 72 only. Even though these bulbs are 40 years old, they still work like the day they were new. But in order to test to see if they work, you got to put 12 volts on them. You don't need a car battery, all you need is 12 volts. I happen to have 12 volts right here. Here's my little battery pack. We connect to both sides, and there you are. There's your headlights, still working after 40 years. They still work.
Space, here on